Well, brand new polls show former President Trump with the biggest lead yet over President Biden. Take a look. A new CNN poll shows Trump leading President Biden 49 to 43%. That's a 6-point advantage. However, Trump's lead over Biden jumps when you add in R.F. Kennedy Jr. and third-party candidates. What you see is 9%, a lead for the former president. And the new poll also found that 55% of Americans now see Trump's presidency as a success, majority approval, with only 39% saying the same thing about Biden. Jason, when you pair what we're looking at now with Gallup, and Gallup found this, President Joe Biden averaged 38.7% job approval during his recently completed 13th quarter in office, which began on January 20th, ended April 19th. None of the other 9 presidents elected to their first term since Dwight Eisenhower had a lower 13th quarter average than Biden. It's a historic failure.
Yeah, it scares me who these 30% think that Joe Biden has been an actual success, because what could they possibly point to? The world is more dangerous. Our borders are wide open. Crime is surging. Inflation is out of control. What can Joe Biden point to other than an infrastructure bill? Really? That's his lead on what he's doing well? Meanwhile, you compare it to Donald Trump. People know that life was better. It was more safe. It was more secure. Inflation was not out of control. The economy was doing well, and we didn't have wars going on overseas. So, yes, I think those numbers will continue to get better for Donald Trump the more people think and contrast the two presidencies side by side.
Harris, the demographics are really interesting in the CNN poll. What you find when just the head-to-head, I just wanted to see Biden and President Trump with different groups. Here's what you find with women. President Trump leads by, it's 1 point, so it's in the margin of error, but leading among women, that's a big deal. Flip over to 18 to 34, Trump's leading by 11. Independents, Trump's leading by 9.
Well, I think let's just concentrate, if we can, on the women vote for a while, because I think that Trump really gets handed this sort of bat of stew from the left about, oh, how women don't like him. And that's why you're seeing the salaciousness in this New York versus Trump trial. They're really trying to color that in the evangelical vote to show that, you know, women and people of their faith really can't go for a president who did all of these things purportedly. Everybody passed on that case with the sex film worker at the center for 6 years. Now they want it because it's salacious and it's all of that. Women want the bottom line. I can only speak for myself, but I think we could take, well, they already did the poll. So the poll tells us half of women would like things to be better. By 1%, women would like things to be better. Try this summer when we have to drive those cars on higher gas, when all of those high prices go up because everybody's home more with their kids out of school, so on and so forth. Try it this summer closer to the election. Women, no, we're not running every household. We run the world, basically, when it comes to budgeting. And in America, if you can't go to the grocery store and bring home food, you're looking at the guy who can make that happen versus the guy who can't.
Yeah, that's right. And, you know, to that end, Emily, when you look at swing states, you know, this is kind of the sacrosanct polling, because you can drive up numbers in New York, let's say. But what do they say in Wisconsin, these states that are going to determine the election? Well, on the economy, on that point, we have an answer in the CBS poll. What you find is in Michigan, on approval of current state of the economy versus the Trump economy, 38% of the percent approve of the current, 62% for Trump's economy. Pennsylvania, similar numbers, 38% for the current, 61% for Trump. Wisconsin, again, similar. Trump economy, 62, current, 42. These are bad numbers. They'd give me jitters in the White House.
It's a 24-point differential in those 3 really important swing states. And when you have a president that's there campaigning, as we see, you know, he enjoys going to Pennsylvania now. He didn't go to that region for a long time, but now he's campaigning for votes. The interesting thing is this is so far beyond the margin of error. These numbers do not reflect a good month at the office or a bad time with a 401k. No. These deep chasm-filled numbers represent a deep-seated unhappiness that no amount of campaigning will fix, because Americans see through the farce. They're sick and tired, frankly, of having a president that doesn't say, I feel your pain, I see you. Yes, Thanksgiving was 18% more expensive this year. Yes, Christmas was much more difficult this year. All of that matters to Americans to that point. And so these polls, the president should sit up and take notice. And that at the end of the day, it's not about who epinephrines him and he's jolted up and gives some type of campaign stop. No, it's about the policies. It's about all of the decisions that have had a negative effect on all of us that we are sick and tired of living through and then being told it's actually not a reality.
Now, Lisa, here's the ballgame. The polling is great for Trump, very poor for Biden. I mean, pretty much across the board. But here's the ballgame. The fervor against Biden versus the ground game of the left, the digital operation of the left, the mail-in voting operation of the left. Here's why I say this. This was kind of buried in a poll, but very important. It was the NBC poll. We'll pull it up. Among voters who voted in 2020 and 2022, so they're registered, they've been out, Biden leads by 9. But those who did not vote in either of the last two elections, Trump wins by 22. So he's bringing in new voters, but you got to make sure they're registered. You got to make sure they show up.
You got to make sure they show up. And that's why I have been pleased to see the leadership changes at the RNC and the fact that they are raising money. There's been a turnaround in the fundraising efforts with that. Also, Trump recently embraced early voting and absentee balloting on Truth Social, which is really important considering this new era of mail-in balloting and early voting. I will say that what is really important with that CNN poll, finding that the majority, 55% of Americans view Trump's presidency as a success. The reason why it's so important is Joe Biden's sole message in 2020 was, I'm not Donald Trump. Even heading into 2024, his message is, I'm not Donald Trump. Well, Americans are having Trump nostalgia. Even independents, 51% of independents found Trump's administration as a success now. So where does Joe Biden go from there?
Really, really quick. What is Joe Biden's plan for the future? Elections are about the future. What's his plan to tackle immigration, crime, overseas?
Well, turn them into voters.
Nobody has the answer on what Bidenomics takes us next.
Well, Jason,
more ice cream.
It's to turn those migrants into voters.
More ice cream that costs more for everyone else.
Except him.
Except him.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.